Hey, I've got a question for you. If you don't understand a word or a phrase in an English conversation, what will you do? If you don't understand a word or a phrase in an English conversation, will you stop and ask what it means, or will you continue on with the conversation? Think about it. You can leave your answers down below. Now, these questions are examples of the first conditional. So in today's lesson, we are looking at the first conditional. We're going to talk about exactly what the first conditional is and how you can use it in your daily life and in your conversations. So let's get started. So first of all, what's the first conditional? The first conditional is a super common grammatical structure, and we use it to talk about realistic or possible conditions or situations and the results of these conditions or situations. I'll say that again. We use the first conditional to talk about realistic or possible situations or conditions and the future results of these situations, okay? So at the beginning of today's lesson, I asked you this question as an example. If you don't understand a word or a phrase in an English conversation, what will you do? Okay, if you don't understand a word or a phrase in a conversation, what will you do? So the answer to this question could be, if I don't understand a word or a phrase in a conversation, I will try to continue the conversation. Okay, if I don't understand a word or a phrase in a conversation, I will try to continue the conversation. Now let's break down this example to see how the first conditional is actually created, how you can make it, how you can form it. So just like all of the conditionals in English, the first conditional is made of two parts, okay? You have the condition and the result. So to make the condition, you need if and present simple. For example, if I don't understand a word or a phrase, if I don't understand a word or a phrase, this is the situation or the condition, okay? And the result, I will try to keep the conversation going, or I will try to keep talking, okay? So here's the form. For the if part of the sentence, you need if and present simple. If I don't understand, okay? And then the result, you need will and a verb. I will try to continue the conversation. If I don't understand, I'll try to continue the conversation. So super simple to form the first conditional. So some examples. If you practice English every day, you will improve. If you practice English every day, you will improve. So if you practice English every day, this is the condition, and the result, you will improve, okay? Another example. If you study for the test, you will do well. If you study for the test, this is the condition. The result, you will do well, all right? Another example. If I don't finish this today, this is the condition. If I don't finish this today, I will finish tomorrow, okay? If I don't finish today, I will finish tomorrow. So you know what the first conditional is and how to form it. Now let's talk about some important points to remember when you are using the first conditional. The first thing, you can replace the word will with can, have to, or must. For example, if I don't finish this today, I will finish tomorrow. We can change will to something else. For example, if I don't finish today, I have to finish tomorrow. If I don't finish today, I can finish tomorrow. If I don't finish today, I must finish tomorrow. So you can change the word will depending on the situation, but the structure and the grammar is exactly the same. The second thing is you can mention the condition first or the result first. It doesn't matter and it doesn't change the meaning of the sentence. For example, if I don't finish this today, I will finish tomorrow. Or I will finish tomorrow if I don't finish today. All right, so this is just for some variety and variation. When you are speaking, if you're using the first conditional a lot, then it's a good idea to change the order. Sometimes you can mention the condition first, and sometimes you can mention the result first. The third point to remember is that you can use unless instead of if not, okay? Unless can replace if not, and this goes for all the conditionals. So for example, if you do not study, you will not pass. If you do not study, you will not pass. Or you will not pass unless you study, okay? You will not pass the test unless you study. So use unless to replace if not. And the last point to remember is that you can use when instead of if. Now remember that the first conditional is talking about realistic, possible, and likely situations. So if you know that something will probably happen, you can use when. So for example, what is the first thing you will do when the pandemic is over? What is the first thing you will do when the pandemic is over? Now, in this example, I'm using when because I know that eventually the pandemic will be over. I don't need to say if the pandemic is over because if means maybe, maybe not, okay? If the pandemic is over, that means there's a possibility that it will never be over, and that is very unlikely or almost impossible, all right? So eventually the pandemic will be over. What's the first thing you will do when the pandemic is over? For me, the first thing I will do is travel or go on a holiday. Now let's take a look at some more examples of the first conditional and do some practice. You can leave your answers in the comments down below. Let's start off with some affirmative statements. So if I am still hungry, I will have more to eat. If I am still hungry, I will have more to eat. Or I'll have more to eat if I'm still hungry. So these two examples have the same meaning. We've just changed the order of the condition and the result just for some variety, okay? And in the second example, we've used contractions. So I'll instead of I will, and I'm instead of I am. I encourage you to use contractions, especially when you're speaking. It will help you to sound a lot more natural, and English speakers always use contractions in spoken English. All right, the next example. If the boss asks her to, she will do it. Or she'll do it if the boss asks her to. Again, these two examples have the same meaning. We've just used contractions and we have changed the order of the sentence, but the meaning is exactly the same. All right, now let's look at some negative statements. If you do not tell the kids to clean their room, they won't. Or the kids won't clean their rooms unless you tell them to. So remember, unless means if not. So if you do not tell them to, they will not clean their rooms. The next example, if she does not ask for my opinion, I won't say anything. Or I won't give my opinion unless she asks me. I won't give my opinion unless she asks me. So again, with these examples, we've just changed the order of the condition and the result, and we've used some contractions to make them a little bit more natural. Now let's do some practice. I have a few questions for you. You can leave your answers in the comments down below. The first question: if a task is difficult for you at work, will you ask for help? Or what will you do if a task is difficult for you? Will you ask for help or will you try to handle the task yourself? That's your first question. All right, when you write your answers below, try to use the full form of the first conditional just for some practice. Second question: if you don't understand a word in English, will you translate it or try to guess the meaning from the context? If you don't understand a word in English, Will you translate it or try to guess the meaning from the context? And the third question, if you get a gift that you don't like, will you pretend to like it or will you be honest? So if you get a gift for Christmas or for your birthday that you don't like, will you pretend to like it or will you be honest and say you don't like it? So pause here if you need to and write your answers down below. So that is the first conditional. And you can check out my other lessons on the other conditionals as well. I will also link those down below in the description. If you have any questions, make sure that you leave them in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching and for learning with me. And I'll see you soon in the next lesson.